I remember singing the song Nothing Else by Cody Carnes
Yeah.
on stage and being convicted of my sin on stage as I was singing it, and I broke down crying.
Welcome to Firestarters. I've got one here. This is Zach Webb, uh, amazing man of God. The first time I heard him lead worship, I was like, oh my gosh, he has it. Like, it was so good, man. Welcome. Thank you for coming today.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Appreciate you, man.
Absolutely.
I got a couple of questions for you.
Awesome.
Just when I was sitting here, I didn't want to warn you.
Okay,
I
that's
want to just
fine.
I know, I'm just kidding.
It's great.
With that smile, man, you don't need warning. You just need to pour out your guts. And
You're gonna make me nervous.
well, no, nervous, no. In John 4, Jesus is talking to this woman at the well,
Mhm.
right? And you know the story. I'm
Yeah.
sure you do. And it says, if you knew the gift of God and who it was who was saying to you, give me a drink, you would ask him and he would give you that life-giving water.
Mhm.
Then the woman said, sir, you have nothing to draw with, and the well's deep. Where would you get that life-giving water? Are you greater than our father Jacob, who gave us this well and drank from it himself, along with his sons and his livestock? And Jesus said, everyone who drinks of this water will thirst again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never thirst. Indeed, the water that I will give him will become in him a well of water springing up to eternal life.
Mm.
How did you meet Jesus? Share with me your testimony, your encounter. Like, how did you know? How did you come to meet him?
Mhm.
And I want to dive into this from the perspective of a man that truly loves God, because I
Yeah.
know you do. And I know that worship is like,
Yeah.
it's sweet
Yeah.
when you bring it, but it's coming from a place of intimacy. And I know
Mhm.
that. How did you meet God? What happened to Zach? Like, when was your encounter with him? And
Yeah.
what did you come out of?
So I remember whenever I was in 7th and 8th grade is whenever I started struggling with porn as a young man. And I remember my dad catching me watching porn and sneaking a tablet. So it was this moment when I knew God was real, and whenever I felt my father ache because of something that was hurting his son. He had caught me, and I remember it vividly. I was like sitting on the couch, just denying it, denying it, denying it. And my parents were on both of the couches, and he looked at me and was like, son, I love you. Like, this is gonna hurt you. And I remember that feeling. It was like shame and guilt, and I just knew it was bad. You know what I mean? Like, porn was bad. But I had never known that feeling of conviction,
Yeah.
and I didn't really know God. I just had knew about God and knew about church, and I just knew church was boring. That's all I knew.
Yeah.
But whenever he told me that, and whenever we sat down and he was like, I love you, it was like crying for 30 minutes to an hour. And the only words that I could get out of my mouth was like, I'm sorry. And then I remember like my parents hugging me. And that was whenever I first like felt, I knew it was the love of God. I knew it was. And then a couple months later, I remember thinking to myself, like, oh, I should go to church. And my parents had mentioned that to me, going to church and getting baptized. And that was kind of the procedure that they thought was what was right. So I started going to church with them. And then my friend brought me to church on like a student ministry, like Wednesday night. And they were like partying and raving, right? At like a student ministry service. So I was like, oh, this is so different than like Sunday. I lived in a little town called Atascocita in Humble, and there was Northeast Houston Baptist Church where my parents went, and then there was Woodlands Church, which is right across the street. It was a little like satellite campus, and I would go there on Wednesday nights, and I was smoking weed. I was, still watching porn. I was still clueless. I was there for 3 weeks, and I remember getting invited to come to a leadership retreat in Arkansas. I remember the pastor inviting me, and I was like, you don't really know who I am, like. You don't really know like what I do, who I hang out with. And at the time I was just doing things totally in secret because I didn't want to disappoint my parents. Smoking weed and drug dealing and just around the wrong people. And he invited me, and for some reason I was like, well, I think my parents would love this. That was my thought. I was like, my parents would love this, so I think I'm gonna do it. Told my parents. They were like, absolutely, we'll pay for it. So I go. And, it just, like, was so foreign to me because I didn't know Bible, I didn't know community, I didn't know, like, I didn't really know how to be a Christian. I wasn't a Christian. So I went and they would always like pray and worship around this fire. And this is where like God became like real clear as day to me. And it was like the third or second or third day. I remember being around this fire and they're singing and they're praying and I'm like, this is weird. Like I think I just joined a cult. Like didn't know what was going on. And then he started talking about prophecy and talking about praying for people and he had like this whole thing, planned out for the night. But I remember him coming out and being like, I think we're supposed to I think we're supposed to pray for people. And all these people are opening up and saying things about what they're seeing and what they're hearing, what they're feeling from God. And one person was like, I see musical notes flying around the fire. Another person was like, oh, I see doors like opening and closing. And I'm sitting there and I'm like, I don't see anything. I don't even know what you're talking about. You know what I mean? But I remember sitting there. I remember um, praying for the first time and like closing my eyes. And I was really anxious. I was really scared. And I remember sitting and praying and going, okay, God, like, if you're real, I need, I need this. Like, I need something. I just need to be blown away because, I was drugs and acid and just all the crazy stuff that was real, totally real, but skewed. And I was like, I don't know how to feel what they're talking about or experience what they're talking about. Prayed, and then I went into well, I didn't know at the time, but I went into this vision, this whatever you want to call it. But I was not there. And I remember being in a wide open white space. And I remember seeing 7 doors, and they were all big, green, and they had little square windows, and they were all opening and closing. And I remember going up to the first door, and it slammed in my face. I tried to open it, it was locked. Peeked through the window, couldn't see anything. Went to the next door, slammed my face. Door after door after door after door, slamming and shutting, and every single door made me more frustrated and more mad. And I remember going to the last door and being really hesitant and walking away from the door because I thought I was going to slam my face. And I'm screaming and I'm yelling at God and I'm cursing. And I remember God telling me to go open the door. So I turned around and I went and I grabbed the door and I pulled it and it flew open and all I could hear was thousands and thousands of voices and singing and instruments and everything. It was so loud. I was like overwhelmed. And I couldn't see anything, but all I could see was where I was walking. I was walking on a musical staff. And the more that I would walk on the staff, the louder it would get. And then eventually got to the point where I was covering my ears and I had my eyes closed. And when I opened my eyes, I was back around this fire. And I'm shaking uncontrollably. My
Whoa.
body's on fire and I'm crying. I'm sobbing, crying. I can't get words out of my
Wow.
mouth. And people are praying for me. People are trying to cast a demon out of me. And I was sitting there. I was like, no, like, you don't understand what's happening to me.
Yeah.
Like God is real. And this is the first time I've ever encountered God ever. And people are praying over me. And then random guy comes out of nowhere and starts prophesying over me. And at the time, I had never done anything music wise, nothing. My parents like bought me a cello and put me in orchestra when I was in 6th grade. I was doing it for school. I didn't really like it,
Yeah.
but I was really good at it. But I had never done music, never made music,
A
never worshiped,
cello.
nothing. I started on the cello and I just played and I was like, oh, this is sick. Like, but it's kind of dorky. And I was like the jock of, you know what I mean? I was like football, basketball, like that's what I wanted to do. And I was partying and everything. So I didn't want people to know that I was in orchestra, but I really liked it.
The cello guy.
Yeah, I didn't want people to know, but I liked it and I really enjoyed music and it was naturally really like just freeing and I felt like I was really good at it. I just like picked up on it really fast. Okay, so this guy comes out and he tells me, "You're going to lead worship and you're going to do music for the rest of your life.
Wow.
You're going to write music. It's going to reach millions and millions of people all over the world. And you're going to lead worship and a lot of people are going to be touched by the way that you lead worship." And I'm 17 and I've never done any of it. I had never sang in front of my parents ever. I would like sing in my closet. I was to the point where I was so overwhelmed and so like, what is going on? I was just like, okay, like literally said okay to the guy. And then that was the first time I opened up to anyone about my porn addiction. And this guy, I mean, he might watch this actually. His name's John Torres. He was like the first person I ever opened up to.
Yeah.
And he was like trying to teach me how to stop watching porn or like just trying to tell me the gospel. And I just felt shame. That's all I knew was just shame and hiding.
Yeah.
Hey guys, thanks so much for watching the podcast. Listen, if you really want to be a part of this thing, you can come to a Power and Love School. It's a 2-day intensive, and we're doing them somewhere in a city near you. We do them all over the United States of America. It's a 2-day intensive to teach you how to be the hands and feet of Jesus. You'll be equipped, you'll go out, you'll start to win souls, you will see miracles, you'll have your own testimonies of how God used you. Click the link.
Went home. 2 weeks later, the pastor comes back to me and he tells me, "Hey, our worship leader left with all of his family. I really want you to step up and I want you to lead worship with me." And I led worship with John Torres.
Wow.
First time I was so anxious. I was so scared. I was so scared because this student ministry was like 400 kids at the time. And I'd
Wow.
never sang in front of anyone ever. And I remember first time going into rehearsal and like, what are in ears? Like, I can hear things in this, I hear a click and all this stuff. And he was just like, "It's okay. Like, you're fine. Like, pray for me." And they didn't tell me this, but he was going to have me lead the entire song. And he was just like, "Just sing whatever you hear, like, sing whatever you hear. And that's it." But I ended up leading the song. And it was, I don't know if you know, it's called Real Love by Hillsong Young and
Yeah.
Free. Yeah, it's like the real like dun, dun, dun,
Yeah.
dun, dun.
Jumpy and bouncy.
Yeah, really like
Were you
just
bouncing?
happy. I was jumping, yeah.
It's awesome.
I remember though, like the feeling of like,
Oh, I guarantee the kids were bouncing, bro. It's probably like nuts.
yeah. But I remember like being so anxious, disturbed, like not peaceful at all.
Yeah.
And then the moment that like worship started, I just started singing what I had heard in the song. And at that point in my life, there was probably like 5 to 6 months of real deal like depression because I had been like trying to find Jesus and removing myself from like football and being around people at all. And I would like literally the only way that I knew to like find God was to go up in my closet. And I remember hearing Hillsong United's songs, watching YouTube videos in my closet and learning how to play them on my guitar. And I remember sitting there for hours a night
You literally went into your closet, bro.
crying. Like I was literally crying every night, learning these songs and just like weeping every single night.
That's so good.
And then whenever like I started leading worship, I just sang the songs that I was singing in my closet. And I remember that moment where like the first time I saw all the people and was like anxious and like, "Oh, I don't know how to do all this. And what are they going to think of me?" Because all those people knew who I was. Like they knew what high school I went to, what I was doing, and I was worried. I was like, "Oh, what are they going to think of me?" And I remember singing and then like everything went away. And I just
So
like,
good.
it was so peaceful. It was fun. I saw the joy on people's face, like singing worship. And I was just like, "Oh my gosh, like I'm supposed to do this." So I left everything and I quit football. None of my friends understood me. They thought I was weird.
Yeah, because you're a good football player. So they're like, Dude, we need
Yeah.
you. Like, what are you
Yeah.
doing?"
And had no friends for like probably 6 months.
Yeah.
And I was just this dorky kid on a stage singing, didn't really know God, but had encountered him and fell in love with worship. So I was just like, "Yeah, I'll do this, I guess."
So
That was the
good.
plan. But that's how I met God. And then getting baptized and like actually confessing that Jesus was Lord at a summer camp that next summer, and gave my life to the Lord, got baptized, got like wrecked. That song, like "Oh Come to the Altar" by Elevation Worship, I
Yeah.
remember sitting at summer camp and bawling my eyes out because that was the first time I understood the gospel.
So
And
good.
then after that, I just was learning and sanctification and little things chipping away. And yeah, talking to my parents, going to church with my parents, and
This is so good. What do your parents think now?
they love it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, they're in love with Jesus now. And at the time, I don't think they really understood like what it meant to be a Christian. They started pursuing the Lord.
Yeah.
And then my dad telling me that he loves me and that he wants me to go to church with him, like brought me in. And then we both, like all of us as a family, grew together, like at the same time. And then
That's
like my parents started leading life groups and I was leading worship across the street. And then
So you were at the
eventually,
other church?
yeah, I remember it was a really hard conversation for
Yeah, I
us.
bet.
Like, I was telling them, I really want to go to this church. And they really wanted me to go to that church. My dad didn't want me to go. And I was crying. I was like, oh, and I'm like 18, I don't know what I want to do with life, but I was like, I
Yeah,
really want to go to this church. I want to lead worship. And they really love me here.
yeah.
And then he let me.
And you guys have a great relationship.
Oh yeah. I love
This is
them.
awesome, man.
Yeah.
Awesome. When did you start writing?
Writing
Like,
music.
yep.
I started like doodling with like lyrics like when I was probably 19. Because I would go to that closet. It was 2 closets.
Yeah.
And we broke down the wall. And then I transformed the entire closet into a studio.
It's so
Yeah, I
good.
painted the
Literally, you
walls
took
and
that seek your father in secret, go into the
literally.
closet and shut the door.
But I didn't know.
Yeah, it's so
I was just
awesome,
like,
man.
this is the best place to do it, it seems like, so I'll just do it. And then I would like go on like really like cheap gear, bought a bunch of stuff and just started messing with random things and singing into a mic and trying to figure out how to move things around. And then that's whenever I was like, oh, I think I could do this. So I showed my parents and they're like, you have to do that. Like, you're really good at that.
Yeah.
And then that was whenever I was like, okay, like, let me try to put lyrics to like these melodies. But it was never like, never like released music or anything until me and Sivo moved in together.
Yeah.
And we went to Hillsong College.
You
And
went to
then,
Hillsong?
yeah, Hillsong
I didn't
College.
know.
Yeah, we both did together.
Wow.
First time I met Sivo was, well, we met over TikTok online. I asked him, I said, hey, I'm going to Hillsong College. You want to move in with me? And we both moved from the opposite side of the country. And the first time I met him was him walking through the door in our new apartment.
Wow.
So he saw the whole thing. He saw like me learning how to write songs, releasing songs,
Yeah.
to then, one of the songs like blowing up and then being able to different opportunities opening up and everything. So
This is so good.
yeah,
I wanna read this here. So I started in this, and Jesus is talking to this woman at the well, and he's like, this is life-giving water. Jesus in verse 21, he's like, "Woman, believe me, the hour is coming when neither on this mountain nor in Jerusalem will you worship the Father. You worship what you do not know, but we know what we worship, for salvation is of the Jews. Yet the hour is coming, and now is, then the true worshipers will worship the Father in spirit and truth, for the Father seeks those to worship him. God is spirit, and those who worship must worship him in spirit and truth." Speak into that, man, because you can write bouncy songs, you can write happy songs, you can write this.
yeah,
Speak into this right here, worshiping God in spirit and truth. Like, what is
yeah,
that in your heart? Because this is, when I hear you, this is what I hear.
mm,
Like, I hear you coming out with, I just hear a genuine love for the Father and the reality of who he is to you as a dad and you being his son.
yeah,
But you're singing out of that place.
yeah,
So, yeah, speak into that. Because there are people watching right now. Worship is so big. There's so
yeah,
many people that want to do it.
yeah,
And you're really, really good
mm,
at what you do, and because you love him.
yeah,
So if you could speak into that a little bit, I'd love it. Because there are people that are like, I want to do it too.
yeah.
Like, I want to do it too.
Yeah, everybody goes through it. Every young worshiper, I
Yeah.
feel like, goes through
Yeah.
this like tension of like how to worship the Father in spirit and truth, and what does it mean to worship in spirit and truth. And whenever I was like first beginning to learn like what that meant, I would just say like stop caring about trying to get onto a stage. I get it. If you're really good and people are telling you you're really good and you're getting a lot of affirmation, because that was me, honestly. Like, people were telling me I was really good. They're telling me I should keep doing it. But I didn't know God. And I needed to know God to be able to do that the right way.
Yeah.
And it caused a lot of insecurity and a lot of fear of rejection,
Yeah.
fear of like, well, what if it doesn't work out? Like, what if I lose this platform? People will come to me and they'll ask me, like, how did you get to where you are? How did you get on the stage? How did you start leading worship? Like, how'd you do it full time? How'd you
Yeah.
like teach me how to get there?
Yeah.
And they're so like frantic to like be in front of people and
Yeah.
be under a light, and they want to lead worship because they see their favorite worship leaders like with these like crazy moments, and it's beautiful, and like it's beautiful, what they're seeing is beautiful. It's like, yes, like that is right, like that is spirit and truth, but the motive of a young person is always affirmation and like seeking approval.
Yeah.
And whenever your approval is like placed in the wrong place, it's misleading. So then whenever you're on a stage and then because you're young and you are learning and you make a mistake, then someone takes you off of platform, right? because you're young and you don't know how to be a Christian, like, you're learning how to follow Christ. You're removed from that platform, so then you don't know how to minister to God. You don't know how to worship in spirit and truth because that's all you knew.
Hey guys, listen, I know you're watching the podcast, but if you really want to go after the truth of your identity and you really want to become solid in who Christ has created you to be, I need you to come and look at LCU. Look, you can click the link below and you can actually talk to our team about this, but the 9-month program will change your life and you will become the hands and feet of Jesus everywhere you go.
Speak into that, because if you're ministering to people and you're not ministering to God, it's over. And then you got to
Yeah.
live by the rejection of people.
And that's your reward.
That's right.
That's your reward. People will always, no matter what, like they will always let you down for
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
And I've been let down many times, but a lot of times it was my mistake, and
Yeah.
I've learned and grown, and like the whole story of my life is like, ever since I was a Christian, I've always held a mic. And so whenever that was taken away from me the first time, it was like, well, I'm ordained by God. Like, I'm anointed, right? Like, that was my flesh going, no, I'm meant to be on this stage. I'm meant to be a worship leader. I'm meant to do all this stuff.
Yeah.
But like, there was so many hidden things in my heart, and like so much fear of like people,
Yeah.
that I forgot completely what it was like to worship in spirit. I was leading worship for Sunday church at this point in front of thousands of adults, right? I remember singing the song Nothing Else by Cody Carnes
Yeah.
on stage and being convicted of my sin on stage as I was singing it. And I broke down crying.
Oh, bro.
And it was literally a pastor's gathering, leaders from churches. And I'm up here on a stage knowing that I'm in sin, knowing that I'm not fully devoted to God, and I'm in compromise. And I broke down crying, singing Nothing Else. It was hitting me. Like, those words were like ministering to my heart.
Yeah.
And I was being convicted. I was like, oh, like, what am I
That's
doing?
spirit and truth.
I was like, what am I doing? You know what I mean?
Because he'll bring you out of that place.
Yes.
Because now you're convicted and you're crying like, my life doesn't line up with
And
this.
I remember being convicted that weekend, and
Powerful.
the next 2 weekends after that, I got removed from platform.
Yeah.
And I was just like, oh, so confused. Like, oh, what do I do? Like,
Yeah.
but I was just learning.
But when you're in that place and you get removed in that place, you're convicted on the stage. Oh my God, my life does not line up with this song.
Yeah.
Like then you get removed, and then it stings because of the sting of, what do you mean? I'm like, this is where I'm supposed to be. I believe that worshiping him in spirit and truth involves mass humility, because when you're in mass humility, you can now receive what God's trying to tell you.
Yeah.
And then the next time you hit that stage, it's different.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love it. There's no other way to go through it. But you
No.
got to obey your convictions. So
Yeah.
what did you do with your convictions when you're convicted on stage that day? What did you do with that?
I didn't know what to do. So I ran. And I ran away. And when I moved to Phoenix, Arizona to go do Hillsong, I went to Hillsong, honestly, because I admired Hillsong's worship and what they
It's
did.
amazing.
It was impacting my life,
Yeah.
changing my life. And at this time, I had grown a following because I stopped ministering in front of people, and COVID hit. And then I started doing worship online and posting videos of worship. Grew a following from TikTok and a little bit on Instagram. And that's how I met Steve-O and a lot of my friends nowadays. And then I ran away from correction, and then I went to a different place to then receive more affirmation and more status. I was like, oh, if I go to Hillsong, I'll for sure be able to lead
So
worship.
that happened, and then you went to Hillsong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
And I already had a following, so people at Hillsong knew that I was coming, but still living in sin. Still had a pornography addiction. Was so afraid to tell anyone about my porn addiction because I knew that I would be stripped off platform.
Yeah, disqualified.
And I was way more afraid of that than like, I just didn't fear God.
Yeah.
I didn't fear the Lord.
Yeah.
But I knew that I had to worship him. It was just like in the wrong perspective,
Yeah.
in the wrong place.
So when you came back out of that after this happened, it's a completely different view of the Father.
Yeah. completely. I was so afraid of correction, very afraid,
Yeah.
and like discipline.
Yeah. Well, God disciplines
Yeah,
sons.
yeah,
He doesn't discipline not sons. He
yeah,
disciplines sons. And it doesn't feel good when it happens,
yeah.
but it produces amazing fruit.
Oh yeah,
And you're now living in the fruit of discipline.
yeah,
I'm proud of you, man.
yeah.
I
And
love you.
I love you too.
I'm so thankful for you.
It's been crazy because that those 2 years changed my life.
Yeah.
And then moving to California with Steve-O and the guys, I learned like when I went to Circuit Riders,
Yeah.
I learned like finally a glimpse. Like I don't fully understand it, but Spirit and Truth,
Yeah.
I like learned like how to minister to God and like in the secret place, and I learned what the secret place really was and opened up about porn addiction and being delivered from that, and then
Yeah.
finally feeling like, oh my gosh, like this is what it feels like to worship in spirit and truth and
Awesome.
not really care what people think, or
Yeah.
like it doesn't matter
So
because
good.
I'm doing it for him. And then that's whenever God started opening up doors of
Yeah.
like, okay, write music, do this.
Yeah.
And that's whenever that became more full time.
It's so good, man. Awesome. Do me a
So,
favor, look into that camera.
yeah,
Pray for those that are watching right now that want to grow in this. Just
yeah,
pray for them that they would avoid all the other pitfalls and that
yeah,
they would enter right in to this place, obeying conviction,
yeah,
falling in love with Jesus, man. If you don't
yeah,
mind.
yeah,
Thank you,
absolutely.
bro.
Yeah. For those young worshipers and even just young people in general, if there's any motive, if there's any compromise, if there's any just muck in their hearts, and right now, even as they're feeling this like tug and this frustration of like, oh man, like I really want this, like I want this spirit and truth, I want this, Lord. Lord, will you just like just by power, would you just remove that from their mind, remove that from their heart? Lord, if the motives aren't all there, would you just hug them and tell them it's okay, it's fine, like this is good, like this pruning is good, like this feeling is good, it's not a bad thing. Lord, would you just comfort them in that? But would you change their motives miraculously? And would you allow them to just see you like nothing else around your face, nothing else like trying to sneak their way into their ear or entice them, or this promotion, like just fear of man? Would you blow that away and just make it really quiet and very still for them in this moment? And would you speak to them and speak to their heart and affirm them in a way that literally obliterates every other affirmation from man, from stage, from anything? Lord, we just speak to them and comfort them and lead them to you, lead them to the secret place, lead them to the word, and encounter them with this conviction. Would they like go into the secret place even right after this and seek the Father and spirit and truth and close the door with no one seeing, no one around, no one looking or hearing? Would they just like open up completely, their heart just open up? And would you meet them in that place? In Jesus' name.
Man, thank you. Hey, if people want to follow you,
Yeah.
what do they do? Where do they go?
Zach Webb, pretty much on every platform. Zach Webb Music, but
Okay.
yeah.
Awesome. Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Firestarter. Love Jesus with all your heart, your mind, your soul, your strength. Love God. Don't stop. And love your neighbors. You love yourself. Spirit and truth worship. It's amazing. Love you guys. See you next time.